Imagine a room whose walls glow with a golden-orange light. Every panel, every carving, every tiny inset is pure amber. A soft, warm light flows across the surface, as if the room were filled with frozen sunbeams. It was called the eighth wonder of the world. But for some, it was a symbol of the greatness of empires, and for others, a death trap. The Amber Room, a legend that has survived centuries, a work of art whose disappearance became one of the most sensational mysteries of the 20th century, and a story that still intertwines facts, rumors, and sinister legends. In 1945, when the guns of World War II fell silent and Europe sank into an oppressive silence, the Soviet Union demanded that Germany return the stolen cultural treasures. But the most important relic was not on the list. The Amber Room seemed to have vanished into thin air. Officially, it was last seen in Königsberg Castle. German soldiers, following orders, carefully packed the panels into boxes and hid them in the dungeons. And then came the war in its final, chaotic, merciless form. Bombings, fires, panic. And all we know is that the Amber Room is gone. But here's what's strange. Over the decades of searching, hundreds of people have tried to find it. Soldiers, archaeologists, black diggers, journalists, adventurers. And too many of them never returned. Some died in accidents, others mysteriously disappeared in forests and mines. A coincidence? Or is it true? The ancient curse of amber, which was whispered about back in the 18th century. The KGB archives contain fragmentary records, night convoys heading to Karelia, reports of strange light phenomena in an abandoned mine, and reports that end the same way. Object not found, work stopped. And there is one more detail. It rarely appears in official versions. According to several eyewitnesses who miraculously returned from searches, amber can glow in complete darkness. Not reflect, but emit a soft golden light. And then in the depths of its dark layers, you can see something, resembling movement. It is hard to believe such stories, but the fate of the Amber Room itself no longer fits into the usual logic. It is as if it is alive, as if it chooses who to show itself to and who to disappear forever. Today we will travel back in time to follow the path of the Amber Room from the luxurious halls of St. Petersburg to the dark dungeons of war. We will look at real documents, compare versions, and hear those legends that rarely reach the general public. And at the same time, let's touch on something that they try not to talk about officially. Perhaps the Amber Room disappeared not just because of the chaos of war, but because someone or something did not want it to be found. The history of the Amber Room begins long before it became a symbol of the greatness of the Russian Empire. Early 18th century, Prussia. King Friedrich III dreamed of a room that would outshine all the treasures of Europe. Master carvers worked for many years, turning the sunstone, amber, into sophisticated panels, mosaics, and bas-reliefs. This material was considered magical. The ancient Greeks believed that amber was the frozen tears of the sun, and in Northern Europe, it was worn as an amulet protecting against darkness and disease. The panels were created for the palace in Charlottenburg, but the king died without seeing his creation in its full glory. His successor, Friedrich Wilhelm, known for his severity and dislike of luxury, decided that he had no need for a luxurious room. When the Russian Tsar, Peter III, came to Prussia, a friendship developed between the monarchs, and the Amber Room became a diplomatic gift. Thus, one of the most amazing works of art crossed borders and ended up in Russia. In St. Petersburg, and then in Tsarskoye Selo, the room found a new home. Russian craftsmen completed it, built in additional panels, gilded mirrors, and mosaics of semi-precious stones. Empress Elizabeth Petrovna, delighted by its beauty, ordered that the Amber Room be shown only to select guests, claiming that a long stay in it enchants the mind. The years passed. The Amber Room survived a change of emperors, wars, and revolutions until 1941. Nazi troops entered Pushkin, and an operation to remove cultural treasures began. Despite attempts to hide it, the amber panels were quickly discovered. Soon they found themselves in Königsberg, where a separate hall of the castle was set aside for them. Here it's shown again, but under the vaults of a foreign city, not in a Russian palace. For the Nazis, the Amber Room was not just a trophy. It became a symbol of victory over the Soviets and a demonstration of the greatness of the Reich. But history took a different turn. It was 1944. Königsberg was under bombardment by the British Air Force. The castle was burning, the vaults were collapsing, and in the chaos, the command decided to pack the panels into boxes and hide them. The events that followed are shrouded in a fog of contradictory evidence. Some say that the boxes were loaded onto the ship Wilhelm Gustloff, or Karlsruhe, which sank in the Baltic Sea. Others claim that the panels were left in the castle dungeons, where they burned in a fire. There is a version that the treasure was taken to the mines of Thuringia or to the caves of Poland, but none of the versions has ever received definitive confirmation. Mysticism began to weave into history in the first years after the war. In the 1950s, the Soviet military began searching, but soon encountered a series of strange events. One of the officers leading the expedition in Kaliningrad died in a car accident out of nowhere. Another disappeared without a trace in the Karelian forests, where, according to rumors, the mysterious boxes were taken. A note remained in the archives. Work has been stopped by order from above. Reason? Unspecified. Local residents added their own legends. Someone swore that he had seen pieces of amber with an unusual internal glow in the basements of old houses. They said that in the dark one could discern vague silhouettes in them, either human or something completely different. In 1979, a group of Polish explorers went into an abandoned mine near Wrocław. They hoped to find traces of wartime caches. But after 2 days, only one member of the expedition emerged. He was in shock, speaking incoherently and talking about a golden light in the darkness that moved as if alive. A week later, he disappeared from the hospital where he had been admitted to recover. In 1997, German journalist Georg Stein, who had spent decades searching, declared that he was close to solving the mystery. He went to the Kaliningrad region to explore the underground tunnels beneath the former castle. But that same night, he died of a sudden heart attack. His notebook with his notes was never found. All these oddities gave rise to rumors about the curse of the Amber Room. The legend says that anyone who tries to take it for selfish reasons will die or disappear, and only those who seek it for its preservation can see the way to the treasure. There is another, even stranger theory. Some historians who have worked with declassified documents claim that Soviet intelligence officers found some of the panels in 1945. But those who saw them said that the amber looked different, dark, almost black, with a deep inner glow, as if something lived inside it that had absorbed the war and suffering. And these panels were never shown to the general public. Today, the Amber Room is not just a lost work of art. It is a symbol of an unsolved mystery, where history intertwines with legend and facts with a whisper of mysticism. Every year, new traces appear. Old photographs, diaries, or testimony from random witnesses. But they all end at the most interesting point, as if the room itself does not want to be found. Time inexorably erases traces. Archives close, witnesses leave, old houses collapse. The Amber Room remains in the shadows, as if it had chosen its fate to be an eternal mystery. But what if it has been watching us all this time? What if the sunny drops of amber remember everyone who dared to touch them? There are dozens of search groups, treasure hunters, and history buffs all over the world who are sure that the answer is close. They spend hours studying yellowed photographs, comparing old maps, looking for underground passages that are not on any official map. But every time they get close to solving the mystery, something happens. Documents disappear, places suddenly become flooded, or entrances to dungeons are covered with earth. Coincidence? Or is someone's invisible hand carefully hiding the secret from human eyes? Maybe the Amber Room is not just art. Maybe it is an ancient artifact that has absorbed the power of millennia, and this power is not ready to be released. After all, amber is a stone of the sun. But the sun, as we know, can also burn. Now imagine a quiet evening, an abandoned basement of an old house on the outskirts of Kaliningrad. You find a small fragment of an amber panel in the dust. You bring it to your eyes, and for a moment it seems to you that a warm golden light is moving inside the stone. It is calling you. Step by step, you go deeper. And behind your back, you hear a light, barely perceptible whisper. Will you be able to resist, or will you move on? The Amber Room is waiting, and perhaps it is waiting for you. If you, like us, are eager to know the truth, if you want to dive into the darkest and most exciting secrets of history, stay with us. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new investigations. Like if this story made your heart beat faster. And write in the comments, do you believe in the mysticism of the Amber Room, or is it just a chain of coincidences? Your point of view may be the key to the solution the world has been searching for almost 80 years.